We all love Gilmore Girls for its cozy and comforting vibe, how it took the season of fall hostage, and, of course, Lauren Graham's magnetic performance as the fast-talking Lorelai Gilmore. One of the most charming characters in television history, we all admire Lorelai as an independent single mom living life on her own terms. The show is defined by Lorelai's incredibly close relationship with her daughter, Rory, and their witty, fast-talking banter that made Gilmore Girls' 7 seasons such a delight to watch. From getting Rory into an elite private school to sleeping over for her first night at Yale, there's nothing Lorelai wouldn't do for her daughter. At the same time, Lorelai is far from perfect. It's a harsh truth about Lorelai that she uses humor as a coping mechanism for familial trauma instead of confronting it head-on. Her fear of vulnerability and getting hurt also makes Lorelai flighty in her romantic relationships. But the Gilmore Girls' protagonists' flaws are what make her such a great character, and often lead to the show's best moments. Avoiding her breakup with Max by taking a road trip with Rory. Season 2, Episode 4, Road Trip to Harvard. Rory and Lorelai on a road trip to Harvard in Gilmore Girls. One of Lorelai's most endearing traits is her spontaneity, while one of her worst is her fear of confronting her problems, and they both make for a perfect marriage in Road Trip to Harvard. After Luke, Max Medina is the most popular of Lorelai's boyfriends in Gilmore Girls, but it still wasn't meant to be, leading her to call off the wedding. But rather than stay behind and deal with her life-changing decision, Lorelai decided to skip town with Rory and flee to what was once the university of Rory's dreams. The entire episode is a masterclass in acting on Lauren Graham's part, as she fully encapsulates what makes Lorelai such an appealing character. Her screwball chemistry with Alexis Bledel is in top form, as is her vulnerability as we see the Gilmore Girls get into one of their first arguments, and Lorelai confronts what could have been when they finally get to Harvard. The episode's premise is a fun concept, but what really makes it memorable is Graham's performance. Lorelai's "It's Killing Me" fight with Christopher. Season 3, Episode 2, Haunted Leg. Lorelai and Christopher fighting by the stairwell in Gilmore Girls Season 3 Haunted Leg episode. One of the worst parts of being a Gilmore Girls fan is having to deal with the jerk of a character that is Christopher. However, his awfulness has its benefits, particularly in this scene that gives way to one of Lorelai's best moments. Christopher was in rare form at the start of Season 3, having freshly dumped Lorelai upon finding out that Sherry was pregnant. In Haunted Leg, he had the audacity to crash a Friday night dinner because he couldn't take Lorelai and Rory treating him like the bad guy, after he was very much the bad guy. Lorelai rarely shows pure anger, preferring to mask her true feelings with quips and one-liners, but Christopher pushes her to the brink, and she gives him the tongue-lashing she so richly deserves. When her rage gives way to raw vulnerability, your heart can't help but break when she yells that Christopher being in her presence is killing her. Graham also shows Lorelai's strength of character when she ends up comforting Christopher after Rory walks out on him. She may not want anything to do with him in the moment, but Lorelai would never want to stop Rory from having a relationship with her father. Taking Emily to a bar. Season 2, Episode 16, There's the Rub. Emily and Lorelai fight at a bar in Gilmore Girls Season 2 Episode 16 There's the Rub. Lorelai and Emily have plenty of great Gilmore Girls moments, from their frequent Friday night dinner banter to the mother-daughter fashion show. However, their best is when Lorelai convinces Emily to pull a jailbreak from the spa they're visiting, and hit up a bar for steaks and martinis. In their strained relationship, Lorelai is frequently reacting to Emily's judgments and criticism, but this time, she is actually able to influence her mother into having a good time. Through Graham's warmth and charm, it's clear that Lorelai just wants Emily to be happy, and even though she doesn't always enjoy spending time with her, Lorelai recognizes the opportunity for bonding. Of course, old habits die hard, and the two end up in a bitter fight not long after their conviviality. Still, despite the way the trip ended, it's clear that Lorelai and Emily made real progress in healing their relationship, and Graham and Kelly Bishop's performances show why we're so invested in their characters' dynamic. Disapproving of Rory sleeping with a married Dean. Season 4, Episode 22, Raincoats and Recipes. Rory crying on Dean's shoulder in Gilmore Girls. One of the biggest flaws of Lorelai's character is that she can often act as more of a best friend than a mother to Rory, and that Rory is often the more mature of the two. But Lorelai is anything but buddy-buddy with Rory when she comes home to find that her daughter has slept with her married ex-boyfriend. Lorelai doesn't often express anger or disappointment with Rory, but this scene makes it clear that she's not afraid to. What makes the moment so powerful isn't that it's one of the rare instances of real conflict between the Gilmore Girls, but because of how hurt Graham shows Lorelai is. Part of what makes Lorelai such a happy person is how much pride she takes in how she raised Rory into such a wonderful person. When Rory does such a selfish, destructive thing, she's not only betraying Dean's wife, Lindsay, she's betraying Lorelai too, and Graham shows it. Her hilariously awkward first day at Chilton. Season 1, Episode 2, The Lorelai's First Day at Chilton. The Lorelai's First Day at Chilton _2-1. In many ways, nobody has it more together than Lorelai. She's a whiz at her job, where everyone respects and defers to her, she single-handedly raised a great kid, and she carved out a beautiful life for herself in Stars Hollow. But in contrast, Lorelai can also be a flailing mess, and that's on spectacular display in The Lorelai's First Day at Chilton. With Gilmore Girls being such a dialogue-heavy show, there's not always a focus on physical comedy, but Graham shows she's just as gifted with her body as she is with her words. It's hilarious watching Lorelai's frazzled panic as she realizes her whimsical alarm clock didn't go off and she has to make a mad dash around the house in order to get Rory to her first day at Chilton on time. But Graham's comedy gold of a performance doesn't end there, as Lorelai stands out like the world's most awkward sore thumb in her thrown-together tie-dye t-shirt and jeans shorts combo. But the best part of the performance is Lorelai's discomfort in the world of Chilton.